Hi everybody, Ann McKittrick here with Nurtured Noggins, and I am just want to say welcome. We're going to talk about babies for a little while. This is our live Q&A, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I've got some good questions to talk about and to answer, and so I just want to encourage you to pop in. I think I can watch the comments, and if you have any questions as I'm talking, please feel free to hop in, and I hope that I'll see them. If you happen to put something in the comments and I miss it, I will contact you through the comments as well and respond to you. Okay. So, anyways, I'm with Nurtured Noggins, as I said, and I just wanted to share with you that Nurtured Noggins is we are committed to helping you understand and appreciate and see your child through a developmental lens, and also to look at yourself and your own responses to your child through a developmental lens. And so understanding yourself and your own development is very much an important part of being a great parent and responding in the best way for your child. So any answers that I give to your questions really need to be taken through a filter of you need to double check and make sure that what I'm saying you can affirm and confirm with your doctor. Every baby is unique, and you are the expert on your own child. I am certainly not the expert on your child because I don't even see your baby, and it's really hard to know unless you actually see a baby what's going on. And so I just like to make sure that you understand that and take it all with a grain of salt. But I do answer my questions, and I do everything that I do based on a career in early childhood education, teaching and training early childhood teachers and coaching parents, and the fact that I'm a mom and a grandmother myself. So that's where I come from. Alrighty, so I've got some great questions, and I'm going to dig right in because we've got a lot to talk about. So here's our first question. My newborn baby is 2 weeks old and is spending way too much time feeding, around 1.5 hours or more. Is that normal? I'm getting really tired, and I'm afraid my breast milk may not be enough or not good enough. And so, this is such a common question that new moms have, especially breastfeeding moms, because you can't see how much your baby is taking in. And so let's look at this for, just kind of in parts. First of all, I just want to say congratulations and way to go. That is a long time to hang in there with your baby, and I know that you must be spending half your life nursing your baby if he's nursing an hour and a half at a time. But in these first few weeks of life, it's really important to let your baby set the pace, especially with breastfeeding, because you don't know how much they're getting. And so when the baby lets you know they're hungry and you put them to the breast and they eat, then this creates the supply and demand that is necessary for breastfeeding. Your baby will nurse, and some babies are very efficient nursers and others are less efficient. And so some babies, they can get what they need in 5-10 minutes, and maybe a little bit longer, but then other babies might need a half an hour. Sounds like your baby needs a little bit more time on each breast to get what they need. And so we really do want to follow the cues of the baby and let them set the pace, because what they take, the amount of milk that they drink and the amount that they empty your breast of, that's what your breast will create for their next feeding. And so, sometimes I think babies just really love to breastfeed because it's very cozy and comfortable, and sometimes they're, I think, really just kind of using you as a pacifier, and so you just have to use your own judgment for that, and see, like when maybe you think they might be done. But your breast milk production will match your baby's needs, and that's why it's so important to let the baby decide and to set the pace for how much they eat and when they eat. If your diet yourself is healthy, if you're getting the calories that you need, the kind of calories that you need, the amount of fluids that you need, and the rest that you need, then probably you can rest assured that your baby's getting what they need out of your breast milk. If your baby is not gaining weight, then that's a different conversation. And it's recommended that a newborn would gain around 4 to 7 ounces per week. And so that is really how you tell. There are ways of measuring how much a baby's getting by weighing them before you nurse them and weighing them afterwards. But unless your baby's really having trouble gaining weight, I probably wouldn't, think that you need to go to that much trouble to figure it out. Let's see. But I just, want to encourage you in your breastfeeding adventure, and it is an adventure. It takes time to trust the process. You're so concerned. You have this brand new baby, and you just want to make sure everything's good. You want to make sure your baby is getting what they need, and that's what moms do. We worry about that their whole life, and you're just kind of getting the first taste of it with this whole breastfeeding thing. But just encourage you to trust the process, trust your baby to take what they need, trust your body to give your baby what it needs, and try to make your time of nursing a really time of connection with your baby and a time of try to relax a little bit yourself. You can even kind of lay down a little bit sometimes and get it done that way. But the first months are hard. It takes a lot of commitment to make it work. And I just encourage you to hang in there and hang with it. I know it can be a little bit tiring at times. So, okay. So next question. Why is my baby crying and waking up when I put him to bed after breastfeeding? Well, that's a tough thing because you feel like when you breastfeed your baby that they would just, slumber off to sleep and stay asleep. It's really hard to know why your baby's crying, but here's a couple of things that you might want to look at. First of all, I just want to encourage you to really observe your baby and see what might be going on. We as parents, we just need to observe our children and see what their patterns are and what's going on. Observe your own diet. Are you eating something that maybe is bothering his stomach a little bit? I know that you already know all the recommendations for breastfeeding because you're doing it, but I'll tell you anyways, just so other people might hear it. And that is, you need to avoid caffeine or large amounts of caffeine. I think it's recommended 1 to 2 cups of coffee or 1 to 2 sodas a day if you're nursing. Avoiding processed foods that are real high in sugar that can affect, the quality of just your own diet and your own body's ability to create the milk. Drinking a lot of alcohol will definitely pass through, and so it's recommended 1 alcoholic beverage per day if you're a breastfeeding mom, and that if you do have a drink, you can certainly live without it for this period of time, but if you do want to have a drink, like a glass of wine or a beer or 1 drink, have it after you've fed your baby and you know that they won't be needing to nurse again for a few hours because they need at least 2 hours for that alcohol to run through your system and not come through the breast milk. Some other foods that can be, be a little finicky with your breast milk, garlic, onions, spicy foods, and then sometimes babies are allergic to the proteins in cow's milk or in soy milk. And so by eliminating some of those things from your diet, you might be able to figure out what it is that's causing your baby to become irritable after you nurse. It might just be that they need another burp. It might be that they need to eat some more. So those are just some options, some things to try when you have fed your baby and you put them down and then they cry. Those are just some things to think about considering, looking at breastfeeding. They might just want to be snuggled. They might need to be warm, wrapped up, cuddly, and, swaddled up tight and kind of seen that way too.